Welcome to Brody Cinema and Tech. I'm going to start this channel out with a tour of our theater. Creating a YouTube channel has been floating around in the back of my head for a while. While building my theater, YouTube was and still is a major resource. I'm also constantly checking out various Facebook groups for inspiration and advice. I hope my theater can help and inspire some of you just starting out with this sickness called home theater. It's not like it used to be when you had to be Thurston Howell III, Gilligan's Island rich guy, to afford a nice home theater. I've built a pretty decent theater by researching, planning, and learning new skills. Buying gear on clearance or used, and doing it yourself has allowed me and my family to have a place to thoroughly enjoy movies that I thought I could never afford. My current theater started out with a 75-inch TCL 6 Series TV and an older set of Paradigm Cinema Series speakers and a sub. I also scored some ultra cheap but very high quality theater seats on eBay. That was a pretty nice place to watch a movie for sure. Then the bug bit hard, so I decided to put the TCL upstairs in the family room and go for immersion. Immersion was the new word that I learned from watching too much YouTube. I ended up with an Epson 2250 projector and a 120-inch Showmaven fixed frame screen from Amazon. I also got a Yamaha S803 home theater system with a Yamaha S808 sub, all in white I might add, simply because it looked sweet and matched my aesthetic. The room dimensions are 11 by 20 with 8-inch ceilings. Around that time, I finally decided to use the Atmos channels on my Pioneer Elite VSX90 that I purchased back in 2014. I got some Mica CovoS coax mini bookshelf speakers and used them as height channels. I definitely liked and heard what I saw. With the bug biting harder, I got up the nerve to cut some holes in my ceiling and install some silver ticket 6.5-inch ceiling speakers. Wow, was I even more impressed. Around that time, I decided to post my system on one of the Facebook groups that I was hanging around on, lurking around on, you might say. And I got some everybody seemed to like the system, but I got some pretty interesting constructive criticism. And that was basically that my room was pale green with a white ceiling and off-white wainscoting, and all my equipment was white. It was like a giant reflection chamber. Most criticisms were I needed to paint my walls black or a dark color. I figured, okay, I'll give it a try. I decided to go all in and paint my theater room black. I went with Glidden flat black from my friendly neighborhood Home Depot. I had got some posters and I had them mounted on black foam board at Hobby Lobby. I decided while I was at it, I'd add some acoustic absorbing foam and bass traps, so I ordered them from Amazon. In order to close off the area, I added some heavy black room divider curtains. The curtains also added some sound absorption to the left side of the room. After I got the screen back on the wall and hooked up the same Epson 2250 projector, oh my God, I was literally shocked at the difference. It was like a whole new setup. Since I had killed the reflections, the difference in the contrast was so dramatic that painting the walls and ceiling black was one. This was also a chance to upgrade some of my equipment. Everything had to be black, right? I ended up settling on Elac speakers. Let me tell you, the review hype was dead on. I love these things. So this is how everything sits now. In my 5.4.2 system, 5.4.2 plus system, let me get that right. I use a Elac Unify UC5 center. I use Elac Unify UB5 mains, and I use Elac BS41 rear surrounds. And very unconventionally, I use Elac CS41 centers cut into my ceiling for Atmos. That's definitely a story for another video, and it will be. Up front, I have two Emotiva Airmotive SC12 subs. In the right corner, I have a Paradigm reference 10-inch sub. In the left corner, I have a Monoprice Select 8-inch sub. The other biggest bang for the buck addition that I have made is bass shakers. It seemed like a great idea, but after watching some of the videos on YouTube, people using words like tactile and immersive, I was convinced. But nothing prepared me for the actual results. Again, wow. They aren't like earthquakes under your theater chairs, but they augment your subs in a way that you can feel even at moderate volumes. It makes my 12s feel like 18s, multiple 18s, without destroying the foundation of my house. I know that's a little dramatic, but you get the point. I use two Dayton BS2s, a Nobosound amp for the front seats, and four Dayton TS25 16s and a Nobosound amp for the rear seats. I used some 3/4 by 6-inch by 10.5 pieces of board that I bought and had cut at Home Depot. After trying to figure out how to mount them, I ended up zip tying them to the frames of my chairs. A lot of people have issues with that, but they're zero gravity chairs, and that was the best way to do it. It fit perfectly into the frame, and they haven't moved, and they work awesome. One of the most unconventional additions I've made to the theater are the risers. So what's so unconventional about the risers, you might be thinking? Listen up, I'm about to tell you. Instead of using wood for the frames, I used two queen-size steel bed frames that I got off Amazon. After doing some research and having the experience of putting one together for one of my kids, I decided to give it a shot. After all, the bed frame manufacturer stated that each frame had a capacity of 3,000 pounds. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that claim was pretty optimistic, but still strong enough to hold 4 people. As long as I don't invite any hippos over, I should be good. I used liquid nails to glue 3/4 OSB to the platforms and carpeted them with a couple of black shaggy rugs from Amazon stapled tight to the OSB. The risers are about 13 inches tall. I've also got a couple of 6.5-inch step stools for the steps. I also added a Gove light strip and a black tinted diffuser for safety. By building this unconventionally, it came with some big benefits. One, time of construction. It took me, maybe like an hour to put each frame together, maybe 45 minutes. Number 2, storage. It's a big selling point when selling the concept to corporate, if you know what I mean. It also acts like a giant bass trap. It cured a bass lull that I had in my main listening position. I actually had to turn the subs down a bit. This project also is going to deserve its own video for sure in the future. For sources, I use a Apple TV 4K with YouTube TV and a Sony UBP X700M Blu Ray player. As far as streaming versus physical media, I have recently become a physical media convert. What a difference, especially the audio, the dynamics and separation make a already great sounding system sound exceptional. This is the way. We've also done some fun stuff like an ultra budget marquee, and I can't forget about our little concession stand. Well, thanks for hanging out for the tour of Brody 7 Cinema. I'll be putting up some more videos soon, diving a little deeper into the projects that I mentioned earlier, and I'll be reviewing some of the gear. So like and subscribe. See you soon.